Day 2, Week 2 of ESL Pro League Season 6. My name is Richard Sims, and once again we embark on a fantastic journey of some high-quality European Counter-Strike action. Now, to join me on this journey, I have two wonderful men. I have Chad, Sponge Birchall, and Jona Natu Leponen. We good with that?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, well, we'll go with that.
I'll give him a pass.
Yeah.
So the thing is, no one could ever say it right.
Yeah, except for a Finnish guy.
Exactly.
I mean, there's so many accents between us all. One of us.
We give it a good crack.
We get there.
No, it's all right. We'll give him a pass on this one.
How are we doing, gents? Day 2?
Yeah, it's all good.
All good?
Yeah. What, another day in the paradise?
I was just drying my shoes with a hairdryer.
I know you were, yeah.
I did not think of that.
Yeah, I thought of it last minute.
Wow.
Yeah, walking here in the rain wasn't fantastic today, but getting the hairdryer out last minute, now my toes are nice and warm.
I really wish I'd thought of that. Well, I'm going to do that in the break. But before we get there, let's take a look at the standings currently, how things have been playing out across both leagues. We'll kick off with North America. Standing tall at the top, we have Optic Gaming, SK Gaming, Team Liquid, Renegades, Counter Logic Gaming, Misfits, NRG, and Immortals. 9th down to 14th, Complexity, Splice, Cloud9, Ghost Gaming, Luminosity, and then down at the bottom, Rogue. Moving over to Europe, let's take a look and see how things changed after yesterday's performances. I believe we'll bring up, there we go, FaZe Clan, Fnatic, North, Heroic, G2, Astralis, Na'Vi, Godsend, Big, Team Envious, Mouse Sports, HellRaisers, Ninjas in Pyjamas, and down at the bottom, LDLC. Now remember, when the leagues have finished, that 14th place is not where you want to be, because that is the relegation zone. Take them with a little bit of a pinch of salt, excuse me. In fact, no, that's right. Take them with a pinch of salt. Yeah, I'm thinking that, bit of saltiness. Because if you are in 14th, you will be getting relegated. The two teams above them will be going down to play promotion. Potentially, we could have 6 new teams moving into the 7th season. And all that, of course, is thankfully powered by Intel. Now, gents, today's games then. We got some pretty good ones coming up. We have, excuse me, it's going to be HellRaisers versus North. And then it's going to be Astralis taking on Godsend. Now, we saw 2 of these teams in action yesterday. For his first game, though, we got some new players in action.
Yeah, it could be a good game. Depends if you use my mum's old adage of a quick game's a good game, because both these ones could be landslides in the favor of North and Astralis on paper, but it is online Counter-Strike and anything's possible here. But the HellRaisers matchup, I think, is the big question mark for me, especially. I haven't seen a lot of these two new additions.
Or at all.
I've seen them on FPL streams before. But
that's not much to go by, is it?
No. But with that second matchup, Godsend started to look good gearing up into that second map, right? Where we actually saw a lot coming out from Freddie B. First day with him on the roster, so Astralis might have a task there. Yeah,
no, definitely. I mean, they looked actually practiced on Cash and much more decisive than they were on training, which was the first one, where, you know, it felt like a lot of the same that they used to do with Pronax, just your usual defaults, you know, trying to make plays happen out of that and then just following up on it, or just your Hail Mary rushes to the outer bomb side. So definitely looking forward to Godsend actually building a bit more structure, something that Fnatic has already been able to establish, and that definitely has improved them. So yeah, so early days though from all these teams.
When you're looking at HellRaisers though, I mean, you kind of got to think, have you got a bit of a task on your hands? We look towards North and they had an absolutely cracking performance at DreamHack. I mean, coming second, especially when you got a new player on there as well, really starting to prove the worth.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all the analysts on the desk at the tournament. You know, even I thought we were doing the alternative stream for the tournament that North definitely, you know, if they were able to climb and play to their maximum potential that they showed in that tournament, I felt like they had it versus G2. But unfortunately, in that situation, they were not able to extract their full potential in the game, whereas G2 was playing phenomenally. So, I mean, definitely, I think North is the heavy favorite in this one, obviously. HellRaisers, for me, it's a bit of a mixed bag right now. Obviously, you have someone like Angel there, the veteran status, in-game leader, but also a lot of uncertainty in this team in the sense that, you know, even he was supposed to transfer to another team, so we don't even know, like, what's really going on with HellRaisers at this point in time.
Yeah, I think HellRaisers is a mess, but Config isn't a mess. I don't know. I think he's probably the best Danish player at the moment. Like, in terms of just being his flair, his style, the multi-frags, or the impact that he can bring as an individual, that guy's looking absolutely insane for the North roster. And then we look at the addition of Valde, right? He is that second star. We were talking about this in the lead-up. We were talking about this in week 1. We were talking about this at the event, is that he definitely has the potential to be that player, and I think we did see that. You know, he was second highest rated for the team throughout the event. It wasn't as flashy, it wasn't as big as what I was expecting to happen, but it's still very early days. Very promising for this North lineup.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that they've been able to mix it up between being very constructed, very tactical, but also utilizing the individual skill, the aggressiveness that these players still hold and have. So you let them run free every now and again, you know, make that bit of a freaky kind of a round in between those well-structured rounds. So that's always going to be that bit of a unknown when you're playing against North.
Well, we did have the privilege to actually catch up with Valda while he was at DreamHack. Check this out.
You played on Heroic for almost a year-ish, and then you changed to North. Why did you want to make a change in your career?
I just decided after a year in Heroic that it was time to move on. I could just feel like something about the team chemistry. Sometimes when we played, things just didn't work out as I wanted on the team or as we wanted. So I think it was the best thing to do for like both me and the team, to like go our separate ways. And yeah, I just felt like we had reached a point where we like couldn't get much better, at least not with me in the lineup. So I decided to not renew my contract and like seek other opportunities. And luckily North came and picked me up, so I'm happy about that. Obviously, when you join a new team, you need to adapt to a whole different role. You also need to adapt to the personalities on the team. That's very different compared to my old team. I can remember the first 2 practice days I had with the team went kinda shitty because there was so much to focus on. I had like 100 tactics in my head that I had to remember, but so far I think we've done a really good job of giving everybody on the team a role that they're comfortable with. And also I think we mesh really well as personalities. Like there's no rage in-game if we lose stupid rounds. Nobody's getting frustrated. We just say to each other, like, let's move on. There's no point arguing in the middle of a game. So yeah, so far I think we've had a really great start, and I already feel like I'm.
I mean, when we look at this roster, it's obviously a full Danish roster, and you would assume, playing back on a Danish team, these guys kind of know each other. They're involved in the same circles, in the same kind of scene. So you'd have to assume that he would just absolutely jump onto this team and just slot right in.
Well, there's big personalities, right? I know he said that they get along well on the server, but with some of the guys in there, you might not necessarily expect that. It was rumored that Magic's was the personality issue in the squad, and that's why he went over, you know, AZ, for example. But I thought the response there from Valde was very mature in the sense of he already knew there's going to be tall tasks coming in. It wasn't just, you know, wearing tinted glasses and thinking this was going to be amazing straight away. But it has kind of worked out really well for North early, and I think you're right in the terms of when it's your countrymen, you don't really have those cultural issues. And if you look at cultural issues, you're going to find a lot of them in HellRaisers with that mixed bag of that 5 different nationalities within that squad.
No, you do nailed it. I mean, it is. If you look at the Danish talent pool right now, it's just ridiculous looking at it. Like it just keeps on going deeper and deeper. They're the masterclass right now in all of Scandinavia. It used to be Sweden before, but now Denmark is taking the reins.
And at the end of all this, they could be in the finals and they could be here at the end of the Pro League Season 6, because this is where, in their home turf, where we will be playing the finals over at Denze. Now, the big question I kind of want to ask is, we've got about 60 seconds to a minute left, excuse me, a minute and a half left before we get on to this game. Overpass. Is there kind of any saving grace here in Overpass for HellRaisers?
Apart from the fact that it used to be a map HellRaisers really like to play, and they used to be, with their previous lineup, they used to be relatively good on it.
Not really. The thing is with this HellRaisers roster, right, in terms of Tier 1 Counter-Strike, we don't really get to see a lot of them, but they get to play in a lot of these Tier 2 tournaments, they get to play in a lot of different online things like ECS development, all that kind of stuff at the moment. So they have probably been playing a lot of CS. The thing is, the star power, the caliber of the players, it's not comparable to a North, and it probably never will be. And the fact that you mentioned Angel being left high and dry, he could have been off to Na'Vi, he could have been off to a better roster, even Gambit could have been an example for him. But now he's stuck with this squad. Like, how much resentment is there? Sure, it's your job, but how is that going to affect this team? And then coming up against a revitalized North and one that looks like they're playing a proactive style of Counter-Strike now, at least they know the game plan they want to attack with. I don't think it matters what map it is. North should be the heavy favorites.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, North right now being in such a high mood, you know, coming off of Malmö and just showcasing that this transfer, while they picked up Valde, may have been the best one that happened in the off-season. So, yeah, it's a grim outlook for HellRaisers.
I've been told we're going to have a little bit longer just getting these players onto the server, so we'll carry on going through it all. Now, talk to me a little bit more about North and their run at DreamHack, obviously getting all the way to the finals. They were looking like a pretty solid squad, boys.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And one of the things that I think makes this even better duo with Valde and Comfy being the stars is the fact that the roles that they play now. So I think with Magic's before, the team was just had way too much aggression. Now Valde is a star, but he's more like a rock, more like a cold zero type player, one who's going to sit back, make the frags he needs to, can come up clutch, is very smart in his decision making. Then you have Config, who's off the leash, he can go and do whatever he wants whenever he wants, and that's a bit easier for MSL to control as an in-game leader. And then you have the backbone of the team, which is Cajun with that AWP over there in Malmo, who was doing a fantastic job. He had some really good AWP rounds on Train, which is a map they don't usually play. So you can see this North roster evolving their map pool, even with the evolution of the roster. And then the most important thing was we saw glimpses from AZ. We saw that he might be getting back to a player who we all thought, was potentially one of the best in Denmark for a while there, but he's dropped off ever since those phase days, ever since coming back into this team. He's never been the same guy. So in terms of the run, in terms of everything they were able to achieve, I think it was like a fantastic result for them. Yeah, you were right, though. We all predicted them in the grand final because they're looking hot. But I think the discussion there could have been the fact that they had to play a best of 3, then have 1 hour break, and then get straight into another best of 3. We've all been there, right? But for us back in the day, you play 7 best of 3s in a day. For these guys now, they're just used to playing, a very few, or 1 a day, right? So maybe for that, it wasn't something they were used to and didn't have enough time to prepare for G2.
Yeah, but in the big picture, if you look at North, I think apart from the individual specifically, I feel like as a unit, they just seem to be on the same page a lot of the time, which helps obviously a lot. But in terms of, I think the big thing is that how they used to be very good at being methodical, taking map control, and then utilizing that. But it became to, everyone knew the way they were playing. Yeah. So now they have that a way of changing the pace and being very, very aggressive or just doing fast-paced, still well-structured rounds, which one will throw off their opposition. And they seem to have that knack for finding the right slots, the right rounds to do those kind of things. So I think it's just them feeling more comfortable within the team, and therefore that gives MSL more breathing room and thinking of what specifically are they going to do in different situations. And it helps obviously having a player like Config just go off and basically winning rounds here and there single-handedly. AZ had his amazing 105, well, at least an ace clutch, not 105, 104 ace clutch on Mirage, for example, at Malmo, things like that. Will obviously help, but big picture, it's team effort, and they keep on improving.
Assuming we have more time.
Yeah, we do.
So one of the things that I did notice, because I like to keep track of the B stream while we're doing the main stuff. So last week we had a lot of games going on, or the week before, week 1, whatever it was. And I was watching some of the B stuff at the same time, or at least looking at the stats. And Zero was a guy who kept standing out time and time again. He's kind of filled the main star role of this HellRaisers squad, right? He was putting up, I think he put up like 37 kills or something in a game, which is just absolutely unheard of. And he's just going nuts for the team. And if he can be a consistent factor and a star, then he's the next guy to get poached, I would say. This is what this HellRaisers team is going to become, I think. It's just one where, hey, maybe we'll what was the Swedish team that just kept happening to? Lemon Dogs. Was it Lemon Dogs?
Well, yeah.
They were an example of that, and there was the other
one. Epsilon is now the current version of that.
Yeah, and they basically you nurture the stars, you turn them into players that everybody else wants, and then they just get taken. And HellRaisers being, having 5 different people, 5 different nationalities, bringing some people in from pickup games. Really, like you've got I don't know how you'd say his name. I think it's Isa or Isa, Isa, and Woxic. They're both from like FPL. And if they turn into stars or if they turn into legitimate players, then it's like you get another ROP situation on your hand. Who's going to take a risk on them? Who needs a new player? How does that get built up? And for Angel, it just seems like he's going to be stuck in that hell, which is just being a poaching squad for a while. So it's not... HellRaisers are a team who are fighting not to get relegated. That's all there is to it, isn't it?
Nothing to lose. And do you think that's kind of playing when you've got nothing to lose? Can that upset and kind of surprise teams? Because you're just doing weird and wonderful things?
Sure, to an extent, yeah. But in a big picture, not when you're a top team. It's not supposed to. You're gonna have to be prepared for everything if you want to be a part of that top pool of those teams. Someone like HellRaisers has to be demotivating, to be honest with you. Yeah. They must be like someone like Angel having the possibility of being sold to a team that has high promise and could have been a part of that very top of the scene, and then being stuck. And HellRaisers, with having a lineup that, it's a bit of a mixed bag, obviously, right now. We don't know in the long term. Obviously, maybe they've had some good experience in practice. They might be looking good. They could be a very different story if you actually ask them. But looking outside in, it doesn't really look like it should be a lot of fun for specific individuals like Angel.
Yeah, he's the one who has been playing the game for such a long period of time, whereas everyone else in this squad is very young. He's played multiple iterations of Counter-Strike. He's been around for as long as we can remember.
Yeah.
Well, maybe as long as I can remember. Maybe not as long as you can remember.
No, he's been around since the Stone Ages,
the dawn of time.
Since the dinosaurs used to roam the earth.
So for him to still be in this position, even though it seemed like he did the hard work to get back and get noticed, and that was going to happen to him, like you said, demotivating for sure. But this squad, they have to kind of still try and play a legitimate brand of Counter-Strike, because there is a circuit for teams who are not in the tier 1 realms, right? And there's always that chance that you could break in, you could have that good result, this team could mesh really well, all the players could show up, and you could have that any given Sunday moment. It's just, in this matchup specifically, it's so hard to give them any props going up against North, who we're praising super heavily, right? The best thing they can do is, I would say, try and prepare for tendencies, but then you're looking back on old demos and you don't know what North's changed, because I don't think we saw North play Overpass at DreamHack Malmo. So you don't have anything to go off.
I mean, you kind of said, obviously, we're praising North. We've seen them in action. We've seen what they can do. And when we look towards HellRaisers, all right.
They won a game.
Yeah, and then anything's kind of possible. But looking on the opposing side of that, I mean, it's easy for us to sit here and question. Between yourselves, is there any, one point on North that you think could be a crack in the armour, maybe a little bit of a weak spot?
AZ's the only one. But within this kind of environment of the online CS and config and Valde are going to take it over, I don't see any issues for them.
Yeah, no, I mean, before, when Magix was playing the team, you could see some temper issues here and there. Frustration was a factor, definitely, for someone like Config, for example, because he seems to be a little bit of an emotional type.
Fiery?
Yeah, fiery, I think, is a reasonable term to be said. So, if you can put him into that situation, sure, that is definitely an advantage. But don't think there's really anything that HellRaisers can do that would put him in that state of mind.
The deep analysis.
Very deep.
Yeah.
But we don't have to do it anymore because the game is ready. So, without further ado, it's my pleasure to throw it over to Pansy and Y&K.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And yeah, a bit of a surprise guest. You're coming to join us in the casting seat. What's going on?
Well, I mean, Chad is the golden boy of ESL, but he can't do everything by himself, so someone has to help him out here and there. He had a bit of a shocker with the rain. Didn't really expect it coming from Australia. Here in Europe, it can rain quite a lot, so he spent most of the day just drying his shoes and socks.
Yeah, well, hopefully he's a little drier now. We were all worried about Chad, but we're underway at least. So that's one bonus. HellRaisers starting on the T side, CT side will be North, and I think we echo the sentiments on the desk so far. This is pretty much North's game, according to what we've seen so far, at least coming off the back of that DreamHack tournament. It looked very good for them. HellRaisers a lot to prove though. New roster, of course, coming in, or at least 2 new players, and a good start. Angel gonna find config, and they're just swarming the site. 1 smoke is all they had, and it's worked very nicely thus far. No bomb plant yet though.
Keeping it simple, just go for that monster push, go in together as a team, brute force your way in, and it worked perfectly so far. For the CTs, it's a lot of pressure in that situation to hit your early shots and then play for the retake, but North couldn't really execute it properly.
No. North now left with just the 2 players trying to play back into this. No kits on board either, so time is going to be of the essence. And KGB being put out of his misery. And now it's just MSL trying to put up a good fight. And he does get a few, but a few is not enough. There'll be 2 remaining for HellRaisers, a bomb plant as well. A good start for them, considering they're going to need everything at this point as well. They need all these pistol rounds. They need all the conversions as well. Because you would say on paper, this still does sit very heavily with North.
Absolutely. There are a few silver linings for HellRaisers, though. Most notably, North didn't really seem too keen on playing Overpass in Malmö, so it's probably not one of the maps they've practiced that much just yet. And they also had to play a lot of games ever since they got back from Malmö, while HellRaisers could have, just prepared a little bit for them, maybe anti-stratted them a little bit. At the end of the day, they could watch those games North played and see what their tendencies are. So HellRaisers are not without chances. Obviously, the big talking point, them getting Isa and Voxic, the 2 players from FPL. Seems like they were scrambling for players at that point in time, a bit of a mixed bunch over there.
It does seem like sometimes you'll find like the diamond in the rough, right? Though you'll find that one player who comes through like your ESCAs or your FPLs, those sort of aspects where you can easily find that crazy talent. You just got to be able to find a way to put them into a roster. So we'll see if that actually comes through. I really don't know what to expect from HellRaisers because, as the desk said, you rarely get to see them at every Tier 1 event doing the deep runs, but they can occasionally surprise. They do sometimes pull out some of those results that kind of surprise you a little bit, but so far, we've got to see them go through the motions. We've got that nice combination of the rifles, the SMGs, not going all in on one or the other. So, keeping it relatively balanced, but there's still danger at board. CZ's up for the CT side. One bit of armor for MSL. He did get a couple more kills, so if anything, just equaling out the money anyway. And Issa is the first man forward, so going to be checking this one out. But the boost is there, and AZ's going to find one, but controlled by HellRaisers, not giving up too much, being pretty meticulous about this.
Yeah, it's very straightforward actually when it comes to anti-force buy rounds, which is why I'm always surprised when you know, teams manage to screw it up time and time again. It comes down to your opponents have pistols, right? So you don't want to get into close range battles. Eventually you will have to, perhaps, but how do you negate that? You buy utility, Lauren. You buy those Molotovs, you force them out with fire, you make them burn, and that's going to make it much easier for you. That's why it's always good to buy SMGs and utility over just an AK and armor, because an AK close range versus a 5.7 or a CZ, you know, it's not that big of an advantage as one may think. So great execution from HellRaisers in that round. North didn't really force into it fully. We only saw MSL with armor, no head armor at that. So they're going to be in a good spot coming into the first gun round. And this is where HellRaisers should just try and not lose a single player. Now that's going to sound silly, you know, they just win the round, you lose one player, what does it matter? But it's very important for your economy moving forward to have that ability, especially for HellRaisers, to have room for mistakes. As we see North pushing in, Lauren.
Well, Cajun B's ruined your theory so far, and probably HellRaisers not too happy about that either. But it's okay. It's okay. All is well. They didn't lose any more. And did they have a Galil? I think they lost out on the Galil that they had, and they kept the UMP. So
in the grand scheme of things, is actually a good thing. You know,
yeah,
no one wants the Galil.
Forced to upgrade. It's fine. But yeah, all well on the Western Front. But as you said, though, the purchase coming out from North will be pretty decent. They're gonna be able to get whatever they need. Money will be set. And at least for HellRaisers, they've got a really good chance in this. They didn't lose out on too many players. They don't have the AWP up yet. They still got that UMP out on Dead Fox. So should be Cajun B with a bit of advantage. I'm curious to see if North play the way they used to. It used to be kind of that Magis Cajun B combo here with the aggression, but whether there are issues with that or not, it doesn't matter. Cajun B has been forced away so far, and this is a high-tempo hit coming in from HellRaisers, but at the moment it's been met by sheer force, and one man's left out by the toilets. That's going to be AZ this time, so a little bit of a switch up here and spotted out. AZ will find another. This is looking good for AZ. He's going to be able to control this, and they don't check it well enough. North put a stop to HellRaisers trying to run away.
Yeah, and looking at this round, you're thinking, what the hell are HellRaisers doing? No pun intended. Like, why are they just running in, no flashes, no anything, into North? But there's two ways about it, right? You want to be aggressive from the start. You know, you've won the pistol round, you've converted. You want that 5-0 start if possible. Maybe you want to surprise them a little bit with the pace. On the other side of things, why don't you use some utility? You have everything, you have a clean buy, go for that slow methodical default. You could see the initial smoke falling right here where Voxic is for toilets. You know, use the pop flashes, gain territory, and then go into a proper execute. Maybe they weren't expecting an AWP on Cajun, but you really had to. You know they didn't buy head armor in the second round, so a bit of a blunder. Voxic looking to do damage, and I think this is fine for him. Deny that flawless round for North.
Yeah, pretty decent for his confidence too. Let's remind ourselves as well, he's still pretty new to this, to consistent levels. The guy's starting to become more and more known to the scene, but at the moment, it's North being kept humble as well. Their money's not suddenly flourished. It's not like you've got that massive buffer. They're still being kept humble. So again, if HellRaisers now come into this round with that better pace to them, maybe a bit more utility maybe utilized, there could be a bit of a shot in this. We do have the AWP up as well, and that's on Voxic, so maybe that's a bit of a switch up. I, as said, don't know much about these guys yet, but what I do know is AZ is going walkabouts straight up towards Fountain, but this time HellRaisers taking their time a little bit here.
Yep, a bit, you know, humbled by that previous round. Decided to take it slow, but you can see that North on the other side where that aggression happened. They are falling back now, and this is why, you know, most teams prefer that slow style. Even if there's aggression initially, they can't stay there forever. So this way you are slowly pushing them back with your utility, gaining map control, so you can go for that default, so that late round execute eventually.
Yeah, you got AZ holding kind of the Speedway toilet side. Cajun B posted up by Long, but still by the toilet, so he can fall back into that, but he needs AZ to stay there, and he didn't expect Voxic to be taking that wider angle. He gets caught off guard, gets completely taken down. Now AZ is in a bit of a predicament. If they went for that fast A hit up Long, he'd be completely screwed. They haven't, and he hasn't heard anything yet, even if it is quite hard to hear the guys running on grass, but still. They've got that first pick, incredibly important, still plenty of utility up. Fair amount of time as well, 40 seconds left. You've still got 0 holding the rotate, and AZ's becoming pressured now. Having to put the flash out, having to try and force his way back, get back to some sort of safety, and they forced the rotate over from North as well.
And Zero probably got a few sound cues from North rotating, as we see Voxic just pick out Valde. And this is, you know, again, comes down to mid-round preference. HellRaisers deciding to cut noise, wait for North to make a move, and now they're pushing onto the A-bomb side.
They've only got 16 seconds. If somehow AZ can stop this plant, this could be a bit of a disaster round. It's getting very, very close to time. 10 seconds now. AZ's looking for that avenue of approach. He doesn't find it. Deadbox will just about keep that in check. And now the last two players from North are pretty far away. There was that one sort of like ace up the sleeve they could have maybe worked out there. But by this point, Config and MSL maybe just looking to try and keep these guns, maybe take some players down with them. But already HellRaisers going on the hunt. Config there, taking the shots a little early and tries to back away, playing MSL if anyone fancied to chase, and no one really is. You can tell HellRaisers are aware that this is probably where they back to. Very tentative on the peak, but good work from MSL. I don't know if he's going to be able to get away alive. He's doing a damn good job, but not good enough. So it's down to Config to keep hold of this gun. But yeah, all in all, HellRaisers leaving it late, but making it work.
True, if MSL somehow managed to save, North could have forced into this round, but I don't think they're going to do so now, simply because HellRaisers have a strong economy themselves, so North are not in a position where they can reset HellRaisers. I think this is a situation where they should just save and try to win consecutive gun rounds later on, but MSL disagrees. He thinks he has HellRaisers figured out. Let's go for a force buy here. 2 UMPs, 2 M4s, and a CZ. Let's see what they have come up with, going for that connector control early on.
Yeah, all right. They're basically leaving A-long open to a degree. They're taking a bit of a risk, going to try and define one part of the map as their own. So the double stack towards Underpass.
And this is them thinking, okay, HellRaisers are not going to go for the same thing twice in a row, right? They went long the previous round out of their default. Now they're probably going to try and switch it up, maybe go for connector control and end up with a B execute, and they're trying to be one step ahead. So Angel should know that even if they force, it's not going to be a good buy, so probably don't want to go towards connector by yourself, mate.
Angel, please. Don't give it up, Angel. Oh, that's great. That's all the utility had gone down as well. This is worthwhile so far for North. Bear in mind that they've had very little to work with. They've got an AK. They lost down Cage and B, sure, but and now the extra pick. So they're in a 4v3. They're up against the last three standing, which is Deadfox, Zero, and Woxic. Now, they're kind of split up too. They haven't really gained too much map control. They've got a bit of a step towards A-long, bit of toilets control, but there's still 2 players per site now for North. You've got Valde on one and AZ on the other. And AZ's going for a little bit of a wander. Going to get back one side of kind of, I guess, A control and leave the other side to his teammate, but still, Valde only has that CZ, so he's got limited reach in this, and if he gets a bit of a spot on this, which I don't know if he has yet, I don't know if he's been able to see anything from maybe the minimap showing up a player or two, the flash is in the right place, and this could be big for AZ if he can stop that hit. And now he's been caught in the back. What? Valde swings out at the right time. Deadbox goes down. This is great from Valde. Buy time, allow the rotate to come around from the rest of his teammates who are still far away. Oh, this is perfect. Valde has completely ruined this for them. That's how you buy time. Now there's 10 seconds left. You have 2 players in the right place as well. Zero has to play out of his mind, and they can just play the clock here. At least they should. And there it is. Config makes it round in time, and that was a worthwhile purchase, but a couple of individual, I guess, questionable choices there for HellRaisers.
The push from Angel, first and foremost. It's close quarters. You have the brunt of your team towards that toilets area. Let them make the play first, and then you can backstab potentially if they're in that connector area. And also, that was a pretty bad miss from Deadfox. If he gets that kill, they probably have what it takes to overwhelm the bomb site. If they get that bomb plant, it's a very favorable after plant position. As we see Cajun going aggressive again towards the playground area. Party.
Yeah.
It's a party.
It is indeed a party, Anko. Whenever you're casting, it's always a party. But yeah, a bit of an awkward one for HellRaisers now. They did have the upper hand. They were, leading the way. They had the money at the rounds, and now, North have kind of worked it out a little bit, should I say. Cajun B now being put to the test. He's got a couple of issues coming in, but he deals with the threat on long well, but he can't land the one pushing from toilets. That allows Zero to get up close, and now we've got an AWP being picked up. This becomes a problem. Now the players are low. Config looking worse for wear. It's a 2v2 suddenly. How the hell has this happened? But then there's Config, and he's got a CZ, and at least he hasn't got his knife out yet.
That was way scarier than it maybe have looked. That's the problem. When you're Cajun in that situation, AZ is very, very important. Because if he dies, you can see what happens. He's without support. Probably should have tried to just fall back and concede the bomb site, because if HellRaisers get that AWP, it can get very, very dangerous for North. And, if Config dies, he survived with very low HP. Round probably goes the way of HellRaisers, but North managed to win yet another round. Again, that aggression towards Party. Oh, a cheeky boost. Interesting that they don't boost the Opera.
Yeah. Can you stand up there on your own?
No.
Surely not.
No.
No, you can't. Okay, he's being boosted. I was just was that like,
Yeah, Cajun is under him.
yeah, okay. But this is
That's what I meant. Cajun usually likes to be on top.
easy now. Up to the challenge. I don't know if he's going to get much
see?
done, no.
Daddy
And-
Cajun stepping up.
Yeah, I think Cajun needs to be on top again. You know, maybe just not made for bottom.
Yeah, put
Not
Daddy
everyone
Cajun
is.
on top. Get that thing done. And again, look at HellRaisers right now. They're very, very defensive. They have the 4v3 advantage. They're just waiting for North to make a play. And this is a potential weakness for North, or not a weakness, but something that can be exploited, right? We actually praise them that they're a very proactive team, very dynamic. They don't wait for their opponents. They're the ones making the plays. But this is the way you can actually punish them for that. No, you know, even if it's not the best way to go about it, you just wait, you cut noise. They're going to go looking for information, and then you just get an even bigger advantage, right? In theory, you don't really want to play that style because you never want to be in a position where you're waiting for your opponents to do something in order for you to win the round. But in very specific situations, it can work out.
Let's see if it's going to work out for Config. Oh, God, the timing's so good. If he had waited, he'd probably had all three walking in front of him, but he doesn't know that. He takes the strike on the first. Nothing more to be done about it, and now HellRaisers is going to work their way forward. They should have the site to themselves. I'm pretty sure it's clear for now it is. Bomb's going to go down, and I am interested in this new combination between Cajun B and AZ. I'm wondering if that's a switch up. If I'm not mistaken, it used to be Cajun B and Magisk being the aggressive duo over by A, so wondering if they're in that little bit of a teething period time as well. But we'll see if MSL and maybe Valde can do something about this situation they're put in. Easy spot towards one, bit of an awkward shot from MSL, but he does make it stick. And now the last two players. Dead Fox over by Bank. He's going to be able to take his time, just going to play the site, watch the cross. Nice positioning. He spots out the second as well. That should be able to play in the other teammate. And Valde, I don't know if he'll be able to make this one work. And good shots towards Dead Fox, but there was always the redundancy plan of Zero.
Voxic left for that there by his teammates, but you know, zero with the rotation. In the end, it pays off. They weren't expecting him on that flank all the way around. So North again going for the force buy. We can see how constantly they're trying to make those plays, and again, it didn't work out. This is where you wonder, you know, maybe you should play a bit more passive, simply because HellRaisers are a new team, you know, a lot of different nationalities. You're unsure how the communication will work for them. So will they have a proper execute if you just concede map control to them?
I don't know if North want to go to that. You know, it is almost a pride thing, right? they might need to, though, because they're starting to get a little run over here. This round's not too surprising it happening. You've only got a UMP, a Scout, CZ. Nothing too much to work with, but you'd kind of hope for more than this. Maybe a little bit more of an impact, but Angel going to be putting up numbers on the board, leaving Cajun be your last man.
I think this is a much better approach when it comes to these anti-force buy, or, you know, when you're facing a weak buy from your opponents. Just group up together, right? They don't have that many M4s probably. You know, a Scout can't kill 3 people in 2 seconds, neither can a CZ, you know, very rarely, to be fair, or a UMP. So just a pretty simple execute, use a couple of pop flashes, maybe 1 or 2 smokes, just so that you don't have to look out for every single angle. And you could see how easily they could get the trades, get the bomb plant, and this was a huge round which HellRaisers managed to win without that much problem.
No, they've kept it clean, and their money wasn't exactly brilliant either. So again, they've put themselves in a good position now coming into this one.
And you can see, even you see the money of North. This is going to be a problem in the next round, because they're probably going to buy the following round. They will have, you know, 4,300 across the board, besides Valde, who will have more. You know, if they want the op, then Valde will have to drop it, but then he will have no armor. That's why these force buy rounds are very important, not just because of that one particular round, but because it has a deep economic effect on the rest, on, you know, on the couple of rounds after that. It affects your buys even after that one round. That's something that people don't really take into account when they consider whether to force buy or not.
Yeah, North gave you a reminder of it now, aren't they? So he's suffering. Zero, though. Oh, that's a sweaty position, isn't it? That's just awkward to play against. That's a more awkward spray. That was nice to see. You're down to 2 for North. I don't think they'll be able to get much more, but still doing that.
I'm not surprised, Lauren. You know yourself how it works. There was Chad praising Zero for a couple of great games on the B stream, and here he comes, and what we see from him is whiffing shots and baiting teammates. Still on the top of the scoreboard with Voxic.
I'm liking the way Voxic's playing so far. He's picked up the AWP, and it was Dead Fox before AWPing, right? was it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it was Death Fox that was the primary opera of the team. So this is a bit more tricky now for North. No AWP, just one Incendiary on Valde, no kit either. So this is where you wonder, what do we go for now? They've been pressuring mostly the A bomb site in pure gun rounds. Do we go for aggression again? I think this is where North should take a step back and actually go for mid-round aggression, right? After maybe 45 seconds in the round, maybe make a risk, you know, send 4 players towards A. That's something HellRaisers like to do themselves on the CT side, and go for a delayed toilets retake. And then you can get not just a numbers advantage, but also map information. You can play that B side for retake pretty much. Save a smoke or so for the defuse later on, or to cut off short for the T's, perhaps. And that's something that can work pretty fine.
Well, that's a nice beginning.
Or you can just win duels.
Yeah, always something to fall back on. No, lovely. It's a bit of a rarity too. It feels that every early pick so far, at least in the couple that obviously HellRaisers picked up, had all gone their way.
Yes, and I'm not a fan of this, you know, clearing areas of the map where there's a highly likelihood of the CTs actually setting up by yourself. Send an extra teammate there if you really want to gain map control. You can't be too greedy and expect to gain control of long, toilets, and B at the same time, or water, right? You need to pick and choose.
Maybe again, this is probably the kind of aspect of still a new team, still trying to work out how to like work together, get communication up. I think that's something that you hope that they work on in the future. So far, it's probably not the end of the world for them just yet, as they're still slowly but surely clearing out through the toilet sort of side of things. You've got Cajun B still pushed up pretty close by, so he might be the one to stop this. Gonna see the Shadow first, but Angel quick on the trigger. He's fine on this one, and yeah, they've cleaned this out. They are just winning duels. I guess that's as simple as it is sometimes. It doesn't exactly always make sense, but it works as well as it can do. Woxic bomb down, backs away, and the last 2 players are locked in towards B, and I can imagine HellRaisers are aware of it now.
This is a problem, Lauren. You know, they allow themselves in a 5v4 situation. First Zero gets a pick towards B, and then, okay, AZ is in that position, and his teammate is in Optimus just watching long. That's not a setup. That's 2 players playing by themselves and hoping for the best, right? And they just lost duels and lost the round. That's not a position in which you want to be ever on the CT side. You never want to rely on duels winning you the round. Okay, maybe if you're FaZe.
There's occasions it can apply,
yeah,
but you're not FaZe.
Yeah, or maybe if you're at a serious disadvantage, but you always want to have a setup. You always want to have teammates playing for each other, baiting, right? That's what allows you to get multi-kills. This way, what happens if they go 3 long? That player from Truck is not going to get 3 kills. I mean, once in every
Blue Moon, right?
20 situations, right? AZ the same. So you're just in a losing situation no matter what. The only winning scenario is if they have just 1 player lurking, and then you get the kill and you realize there's no one else there, and then you can rotate and backstab them. But that's you gambling on the T's basically making a mistake.
Yeah, and those gambles don't always work out. Config gets absolutely backhanded by Woxic there.
They never learn, Lauren.
No, they've done it before.
Put that Cajun on top.
They should put Cajun on top. Cajun B this time, though, just picking up the dropped M4, I'm pretty sure, and trying to back away from this. But, yeah, as said so far, it looks like a very, I guess, disenchanted North. They don't look like they have that, you know, coordination, that sort of approach that we saw coming into Malmo, where it was quite impressive to watch. And that was, you know, like, okay, these guys, you know, they've got everything starting to build up. Maybe this is just the map that they haven't worked on yet.
I think that's the case. We talked about it briefly, how they didn't play it in Malmö. But it's also, you know, maybe we forgot a little bit how HellRaisers were very good on Overpass for quite some time, actually. We all remember that E-League major qualifier where they had some big wins on the map, most notably against NIP in overtime, I believe it was. So they definitely, because the in-game leader is the same, right, in Angel, so he definitely still knows the same things about the map he used to know, still have a good understanding of the map. It's just about getting the other players to adapt and to embrace that system.
Yeah, we'll see if North maybe pick up on their T side, if maybe it just kind of slots into place a little easier. Maybe it's just they're just not quite there on that CT side. I'm curious to see how much they've switched up, if the combos are different, if the positions are different. I'd have to look back over how they used to play. If I'm honest, I'm already just as rusty as North are on this map at the moment. So Dead Fox taking over long control again, getting 1-to-1 fights, and Cajun B is trying to support him from long now, but still, AZ is so isolated at the moment. He's trying to find a way out of this safely. He does make a little bit of a route for himself and gets away for now, but again, North having to fall back to sites, playing a little more passive this time.
I mean, that smoke he just threw, that's where the T's throw their initial smoke. And it seems like he's perfectly happy of being there while that initial smoke lasts. Trying to get a pick off or something, but I think he just stayed there for a bit too long. And yeah, now they're trying something different, playing a bit more passive towards that A bomb site, waiting to see if HellRaisers actually have a proper execute, but HellRaisers seem to have been setting up for that B fake.
Yeah, this is nice as well. It'll be the first time they've ever gone to be, buy versus buy on these full situations. So that's going to be really frustrating for MSL. He's the man who's being the rotate player now. He's going to head right back on over, and it is all but a ruse, and Zero's actually winning on this. That's even worse for North.
That's the frag.
They're being sold on it so bad. And now Cajun Sure's getting involved. AZ actually might be a difference maker. That's bombed down. That's massive. Finally, North fight back, and I don't know if it was even the right thing for them to do in a way, almost. They got sold, hook, line, and sinker by HellRaisers, but when it came to A on A, there was still Cajun B, there was still AZ, and those two finally delivered.
Cajun actually started moving after Zero gets that kill, but he only just sees the players from HellRaisers as he's switching position and stays there. AZ also in a very offensive position, and that's where it looks good, right? When they go for that fake, obviously they can't clear every single angle coming towards the A bomb sites, and that's where an aggressive position from AZ can really pay off. But I don't blame HellRaisers. They tried something different. Maybe should have gotten a bit more map control towards toilets, made sure that both players on A are towards the site. And now Valde himself a bit more aggressive towards water.
It was a really nice flash over by MSL, but he just couldn't make the most of it while he had the chance. He did tag up one. I think it was Issa who got a face full of damage, but by the end of it, they were able to fight back. The flash dissipated, and you're fine. Now, look at AZ. Little does he know what he's walking into. Poor bastard. There's no other way to say it. It's like, what else can I do?
That's one of those situations where if you're playing, just a pug, you're like, good job, mate. Like, if you see him standing there, you get 2 kills on B and there's a guy just holding that flank with the bomb and an AWP, and you're like, yeah, great position.
Look.
Good job, you killed me. Nice one.
We're finding out what tilts Yanko in games. This is great. This is all you ever needed. Now, Config still believes this is an A hit. That's... oh, God.
I think he's just... like, save.
It should be now. He can't do anything about it, so... bomb down.
This was one of those awkward situations for North where MSL flashes for Valde. He doesn't really get the kill, but he's still fighting. MSL doesn't want him to fight, but he realizes if he dies, nothing happens, so maybe I should go and help him. Maybe we can get the kill together, and then they both just die. And Config is left by himself in the site. AZ has to take a risk, tries to make a play. But HellRaisers, yet again, we saw it throughout this half. Once they get the advantage, they stand still. They don't push that advantage immediately. They wait for their opponents to make a play. And so far, it's been working perfectly for them, more or less.
Yeah, no, credit where it's due. As much as, we come into this matchup and we think, how it sits, and you can take LAN results into account and everything else, HellRaisers don't seem to care. They're playing their own game and it's working. Whether it be the impatience of North or them trying to make things work or just not being quite as fluent on this map. Yeah, whatever it is that's hindering North right now, which is quite apparent, still happening. The fact is that at the end of the day, HellRaisers are getting the rounds on the board. They've got a good money now behind them. They've got everything going their way. They've got 10 rounds. If they get to 11, this is perfect for them, obviously. This would be such a great way to really get into the Pro League. And, well, and a great way, I guess, to get those 2 new players into this too. Issa and Woxic, they're not new to CS, obviously, but they're new to this sort of consistent high-tier level. So what a great way for them to get their name out here.
They're new to competitive CS at this level, right? FPL is a whole different beast. It's, sometimes it's not even CS what's happening there, but it's good to get your individual skill, right? To learn how to deal with people doing dumb stuff against you and just have your aim on point, especially on the CT side when you're holding bomb sites. And now this round is very, very difficult for North, not just because of the equipment and the utility they have, but also because everything they've tried so far pretty much hasn't worked. So again, we see AZ by himself towards A long. Cajun is on the other side of toilets.
Well, AZ's going to do a nice bit of early damage, but it never feels like it's a clean sort of pickup. They've already lost down Cajun B, so AZ's forced to do more, and he's going to deliver on that front at least. Dead Fox falls to his hand. He's going to back away, and North retain a man advantage. Now, look at the rest of HellRaisers. They're still so passive. They're over by Fountain still. Angels still by Spawn. They don't run back in. They're not exactly playing hyper-aggressive CS by any margin. And I'd be gutted for North if they lose any players here. They really shouldn't need to.
And now they're the ones who have the numbers advantage, so they don't have to, push or try to get any more kills now. you just play for info, try to figure out what it is that HellRaisers want to do, and then make the rotation, play the numbers. You know, what we like to say is if they get the trade every single time with the numbers advantage, they will win the round.
Well, maths is difficult, but I think I can get my head around that one. AZ, though, this time doesn't deliver.
Trade.
He did pretty
Now they
decent
can
at the
lose,
end.
Lauren.
And yes, indeed. Now they can let the round go. It's down to MSL, and, well, that's how well it's gone for him.
They lost the round,
Walksick,
Lauren.
done and dusted, and I think this is going to be an 11-4 half here. North being put back in their place, it seems, as the retake's on. It's Valde and his config. I guess there's only 2 players to do it. Not a bad shout on these 2, but there's 3 against them. Still utility, still good after-plant positions. Good first pickup, no trade available. Valde looking for the next option, but will they find out that one player? Angel in such an awkward position. Valde had a second to respond, and that second just slipped away. A great half for HellRaisers. 11-4 is massive.
Absolutely, they did 2 things great. One of them was fending off that early aggression from North, and the second one was, you know, closing out rounds when they had advantages.
Well, we'll see if that continues into the second half, of course. Still much to be played for here. North could maybe turn up with a T-side that could turn all of our heads, but for now it's HellRaisers going against the odds. We'll find out if they can do even more after the break. An 11-4 half, and yeah, most people coming into this, I guess, at the start of the day would have thought that would have sat with North. It doesn't. It's HellRaisers taking the lead here, and in quite dominating fashion, but you've got to say, this doesn't look like the North we saw over at Malmo. It looks very different, and I think we've been kind of discussing the fact that this it doesn't feel like a map they've been really got into yet.
Yeah, it really does feel like it, especially because of what we talked about on their CT side, not playing as a duo, right? Not having that many setups once the early aggression doesn't work out for them, which we do see on other maps. They are playing as a team. One of the things we praised them the most in Malmö was their ability to go for that mid-round aggression, to try and retake map control, to play for information, to not allow their opponents to get map controls themselves easily. So I believe it's just a matter of them not having enough time to practice this map yet. But you also have to give props for HellRaisers. They were playing great, you know, not allowing themselves to get picked off early. Once they would get an advantage, they did great in closing it out. And we see a lot of utility on the side of North. 3 smokes to be executed.
Going to go underpass, surely, to hold the middle of the map. But HellRaisers have got all the players here. They've got 4 players here as well. This is huge. MSL breaks in first, though. The flash is still good for 2. MSL has done wonderfully there
Flash
for his
MVP.
side. Yeah, exactly. MVP of the round should be the Flash. I don't think it's going to quite get the same salary as the North players, but, you know, it gives what it can. But there's still players in their way. HellRaisers still have men standing. It's a 1v3, and you can see Angel's just in the fires here.
Rolling back the years, USP, no silencer.
Yep, you love to see it. Doesn't go well.
1.6.
Yeah.
Doesn't really, and I mean, that round was a great example of why if you have a set plan, okay, so it was obvious that North wants to go B in that pistol round, and this is where a lot of teams will just, yeah, let's save that flash for the site. You know, who plays aggressive B towards water in the pistol round? If you're CT, you just play passive, you have the range advantage and damage with USP, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to go for it, use that one flash. You see how that won them the round, just one flash. If you're going to be committed to one site in an execute, think about all the things that can go wrong for you and try to account for as many of those as possible.
And I'm hoping we see something similar here. The Molotov's hits coming in, using all that utility well to just try and eliminate all the threats as much as they can before they make the hit happen. So again, Molotov's going. I'm not sure if that one landed over by the barrels, but that's no real problem. It's the player on shore who could be the issue. Zero's still buying a bit of time here, but he does get overwhelmed. North just put bodies to the side. The bomb went down in an awkward spot, but Valde's position is good for the kill. He can just hold that longer rotate, reposition towards water, and Angel again left in a situation where it's very limited on what he can do. Maybe make it a little bit costly to North, maybe a bit of a nuisance, but the round win is looking near on impossible. But I like this from North. I like these sort of things. We saw it from Astralis yesterday. In these sort of rounds, get all the Molotovs up, get your nades up, use them all. Don't be lackluster in it. Just actually commit through and through. So this should be Valde's kill, but he's just tucked around the corner, and nice work from Valde.
Yeah, this is where you wonder whether that force buy was really necessary. You have an 11-4 half. Sure, Voxic didn't force, so he could have enough money for an AWP and armor, but you also want to have those nades, especially against a team like North, who even if they didn't have much time to practice the map, surely they will have at least a couple of set pieces ironed out, and they will have their default positions set up. So maybe HellRaisers not confident in their gun rounds, wanted to get that cheeky force buy in, close out the game early, but this should just be a farming round for North.
Yeah, and himself should be doing nicely in that. He does get found in the end. It's not the maximum amount of money, and actually losing out on 2 players here is still pretty substantial. They do have the 2 rifles remaining, so it's not the end of the world, but you probably shouldn't be losing that much to USPSs, but they get the round. So for North, it's stepping in the right direction, but for now we've got to see what the purchase is from HellRaisers. The money's not going to be perfect, so they can be a little bit limited on utility, but East is going to take the, I guess, step down, right? He's going to go down to the...
FAMAS.
Yeah, the...
It's not as bad.
Still. It's not as bad as it could be, but yeah, he's going to have to just deal with this. But he does get utility. He does get the Molotovs to stop rushes down towards Monster. He can kind of play it out from the back of that, which is always useful. You don't want to have to leave that up in the hands of the opponent.
It's very position dependent, and for his position, he definitely needs the nades over anything else.
Absolutely. 3 players towards B here for HellRaisers. AZ, the one to knock on the door if they do go for it. On the other side, there's Zero holding the slither of an angle. North taking their time. They do have the Molotov set as well. They could do whatever they want with it. They could do the carpet bomb throughout the map, and they're slowly working away on map control as well. Smartly moving through party, just kind of as the duos, just building through the map.
Absolutely. They wanted to take water control early and then try and secure toilets control as well, which will allow them, which would give them a lot of room to execute fakes, perhaps. But we still see Dead Fox is in a relatively aggressive position. He can get a lot of information from toilets, so not really sure how it's going to work out. Going towards that monster push.
Nice. Good counter smoke goes in, though. It will give Issa a chance. And actually, HellRaisers to lock off that monster approach. The late flash will blind up 1, make it 2. Now the hit comes through on short, and they've completely boxed in the players from HellRaisers. That was a very well-constructed piece. Not one-dimensional at all. Had plenty of looks to it. Very, you know, the Astralis hit, but then some. Really well done. That's locked off Woxic and Dead Fox. He can't do much between either of them. So, again, looking to probably save those guns and not lose out on any more.
And true, that's what we mentioned, right? Even if North is not super prepared on the map, they're definitely going to have an execute like this, a default to start things, to get things going. And if Issa gets that first kill, the round maybe falls apart for North, simply because, you know, he can focus on that monster. He had a smoke there, probably could get a few more kills, but that's why you always prefer the AK over the FAMAS or the M4, that one shot, 1 kill, if it's a headshot, beats anything else. So good execute from North, and HellRaisers still save the AWP, so they can make something work in this round if they can guess right.
And the grind really does start for North now. You know, you're already up to 8 to 11. It's the way CS seems to be. Even those 4 rounds, even though they don't seem like much, you win a pistol, you maybe win that first gun round, you're right back at the door. And HellRaisers are left with a horrible sort of economy situation. They've gone for the CZ buy-up to supplement the AWP and the M4 they were managed to keep. And I wonder if they can make a difference with it. It is going to be Woxic on the AWP, so Dead Fox on the M4 going towards, he was going towards kind of underpass, but no, he's backed away from this. Woxic's the one looking down towards Monster. There is a player at the end, but playing it slowly. And MSL finding Dead Fox means the rifle is down. That's a huge loss for them. I don't know if Angel's going to be able to make much difference here as well, as MSL looks like he wants to check on this. Oh, great work from Angel. Not a second to be seen, but good information found at the very least.
As you can see the difference in the first half when North went for a similar buy. Angel was by himself in connector and he just gave away a kill. North, if they want to get connector control, they realize, okay, we need to send more people there, more bodies, because they might force up and try to hold that area, and they get the favorable trade. But Woxic finds the kill onto Cajun.
It looks like North is trying to quicken the pace now towards B. They're just trying to head the hell over there. Valda's going first, almost AZ's not far off either. You do have ESL there, but CZ again, all he's got to work with. Just going to watch that kind of close cross towards short. Bit of a cheeky angle. Oh, just as he looks away. That's very unfortunate. Next target to come up would be AZ, but AZ is ready. Now Valda's going to find one, and that's removed the AWP. It's fallen back to the hands of Zero, but I don't know if he's going to really go for much here. That was a really quick turn from North. As soon as they started to get trouble towards A, turn tail, get towards B, bomb down, 3 alive.
Absolutely, and HellRaisers did have a chance if Woxic managed to connect with one or two of those shots. There was no smoke, no flash to basically hinder him, but wasn't meant to be. And these rounds are very tricky for the T's, right? Because, you know, they've saved an AWP, they've saved an M4, and even if the rest of the players only have pistols, you still have to treat it as a gun round pretty much, because if you are reckless and you run into that AWP without using your utility, you can get decimated.
See it so often these days, more often than not. So it's why it's always good to see teams being smart about their approach on the T side, even if they are up against any sort of saved weapons or even any sort of smaller force buys or whatever they can afford. So what are we going for here?
And knowing North, this is where you feel like they're going to speed up the pace, go maybe for an explosive play towards the B bomb site, something along those lines. They really love changing the pace up. So HellRaisers on the other side of things, not going for anything too crazy. We see Dead Fox and Woxic towards that A bomb site, not being super aggressive, just playing for info so far.
Yeah, this is actually pretty default from both sides. There's nothing to really write home about. Bit of a lean towards A, I guess, but just taking over the default controls, taking over party, trying to work back on toilets. Dead Fox isn't far off on this one. He's probably just in toilets waiting for this, but they can go through the underpass area. They've left the rotate completely open. That's why you have that one man going down there, so you can go back and forth, no problem, so you can switch between sites as quickly as you like and try and get that balance right to whichever site you head towards. Now, Dead Fox and Woxic going to be forced away a little, though, falling back from those initial spots, and Angels joined them now, so 3 players towards A here. And North haven't shown the full picture. Cajun B's the one with the bomb, and he's a mile away still.
And this is what I was referencing. It's not 4 players, it's 3, but they like to go for this clear of toilets a bit delayed with just, you know, going for a contact play, more or less. And they're getting a lot of information right now, but the North players are just on the other side of that wall, and they are going to go A.
Ooh, Dead Fox then, finding one for free. I don't know how he got that without any sort of threat coming back in, but Angel is keeping a lot of this together. If they get a couple more players towards long, North could overwhelm this, but for now they're putting faith in the likes of Dead Fox and Woxic in those toilets. And they are watching each other's angles. If one gets pushed, the other should swing into action. This is going to be this A hit. No matter what happens, it's going to happen right now. 25 seconds and Config going first man forward. Smokes come in, but now they've pushed the players forward. Angels left the site. Now wrapping around the back. What on earth has happened? How did they not keep it in mind? Valde is now going to walk in, and you've got players still left in toilets. Will they expect Woxic here? I'm not sure. Now they know he's here, but what a threat he could be. Time is now ticking. 8 seconds remain. Valde falls. They're scrambling for the bomb plant. 4 seconds now. He's just got to hinder the plant, and that's it. He's done enough, surely. No more to be seen as Cajun B's trying to put up a fight, but there's too many players left. They will get the defuse, and they overwhelm just at the right time.
Angel, with a slight case of brain DDoS in that round, was holding long for the entire round for his teammates, and then when the hit is actually coming in, he just decides to I can't hold this, boys. Send help.
I'll come and join
and
you.
And it could have fallen apart because of it. You know, they could have just gotten backstab, but fortunately, they reacted, managed to get the trade kill. So could have been a lot uglier for HellRaisers, but you could see that aggressive setup actually bringing a lot of success for them. And that's the problem when you don't really make sure that you push the CTs back. An execute like that can get easily shut down. So North, more than enough money to buy. Again, already established water control in this round. Is this a cheeky boost? Yes, it is. 0 on the boost. Great timing. Angel actually was on top. Daddy Angel. Seems like the most experienced players are the ones who have more success on top. Guess it comes with the years.
Maybe it does. And the newer players, let's have a little look at those. Woxic and Issa.
They need to get, you know, initiated, Lauren, so to speak.
Okay.
Figure of speech.
Of course. They will be split between the sides for now. Woxic falling back towards Bank. As the rest of North, though, looking at those guys, probably lining up for this B hit. They can go back to the kind of the same hits we've seen before. The smokes towards Graffiti, the mollies going towards the barrels. Now, last time the barrel molly didn't work out so well, but maybe Config's being sent in dry here, which, top or bottom, it doesn't seem to matter. That could hurt a hell of a lot. Issa now burns alive, forced out of position. He was put out of his misery by AZ, but there's a hit coming through. AZ finding 2, and the site is his. There's 1 man in water. That is Angel. Experience aplenty, but too many men to handle. As now down to the 2v2. Bomb yet to be planted. There's still threats aboard. Woxic is close, as is Dead Fox. Valdi, one of the new additions, going to be on guard here, trying to make his way back through, but Woxic finds the shot, and now it's the one-man band of KGB. 2 players to find, both so attentive and so little time remaining. 12 seconds here. He has to find one of these 2, ideally for him. There's no time, surely, for this. He does get the first, and the connection, the switch across wasn't quite there. So HellRaisers, again, it may not be clean, it may not be pretty. They are getting rounds on the board again.
Huge round for them not to get reset to win that consecutive round. That in a 45 situation, the T side, it's not as bad as it looks. Perhaps you can go for that execute more or less, even with 4 players. You can see how it can work out great. In Tier 1, you know, against the best teams in the world, that will rarely work because the other team is aware that's your go-to thing, right? So they will either play a bit more passive, wait for that execute to come in, and then retake with superior numbers and utility, or they will just do a better job at holding because they know it's coming, right? HellRaisers, they're not completely on point. They had 3 players in the site, didn't really play for each other. Maybe should have pop-flashed a bit more. And in the end, it came down to a 2v2, which is always beneficial for the Ts. But another great read from HellRaisers now, reading that North is going to go towards that long area. And there are so many powerful setups on long if you're CT, if the Ts actually come. And that was one of them. Angel in the anti-flash position, that Fox playing around the tree, and a 5v3 situation. Now you have to play safe. Don't let AZ find the kill.
Issa might be in trouble. It's MSL to find the kill, but it could have been anyone. Woxic and Zero, though, still here to keep this side together, clawing at these kills as they do manage to claim MSL. So now down to the 2. Valde and AZ again, somewhat of a situation that we've seen before. Maybe not different, maybe different players, but somewhat similar. And Dead Fox again doing work. And the last 2 kills come through. It's 14 now on the board for HellRaisers. I thought this was going to all go North's way once they got on that T-sub. We saw them building in. It looked good. But no, HellRaisers have put their foot down. They've seemed to have worked it out. They know that North like to fall back to this B here. They're playing well early game. And I love that read on towards A-Long.
They're playing real solid Counter-Strike at the moment. I don't think, you know, this is a bit of a surprise, even though it's Overpass, and even though they used to be good on the map. But the reads are there. They understand what's happening on the map. They're making the right calls as well. Yes, it's not probably as clinical as it's supposed to be, but for them, they're in a position where they just need the W, no matter how they get it. So, again, that boost towards the B bomb site. North still with enough money to buy, but
it's great as well. You said it before, experienced player, put them up there, they'll do brilliantly.
Even got a pop flash, so that's what you love to see, Lauren.
You love
teammates
to see it.
Flashing for each other, playing for each other, not going for solo plays, and North are forced into that monster push.
Yeah, Issa this time has a whale of a time. Before he got that kind of 1 kill and then got overwhelmed. He only had the Famous before, the Galil before, so again, he was struggling on that sort of aspect. This time, full up on the M4, so he was able to do what he wanted. They didn't check it as early as well, so he got away with murder. You can see him actually allowed to get away with this. They're focused towards that kind of short side of things. So 15 rounds now for HellRaisers. They are right back in this, and the money, the purchase from North for the final possible round is a bit of a disaster.
Surely this is the round they lose now, HellRaisers, right? Because it always goes like that. You win the difficult ones, great play on pure gun rounds,
yep.
Managing to get the read on your opponents, and then you lose the pistols and SMGs. But we'll see. Don't want to jinx them just yet. But that previous round, you can't blame North for trying to explode onto B after losing a man, because, you know, maybe HellRaisers thinks that's only config, the rest of the team is on the other side of the map. They realize they don't have the optimal buy, so they need to take a risk eventually, and it didn't pay off.
Bit of a struggle. Now, North are obviously put to question here. You know, what do we do now? We've tried these explosive B hits, been struggling on them. You know, it's been a bit of a resurgence here from HellRaisers, but Angel seems to be putting himself in the right place more often than not. You can see him backing now over towards A. Initially, he was over by B. Maybe just getting reads of this, maybe just getting the feeling going. I don't know if Deadfox has actually seen anyone, or just maybe a bit of that utility coming through has given an idea. And late round aggression from, well, Angel for a second. Config lands a bit of a blinder. That's not a shot you expect to see being hit every single time. And now Deadfox wants a bit of it. He sprays it on one. He gets a great tag towards the second, but he needs backup. He needs support, and Woxic is there. He's the only one here right now. He needs a little bit more help. Issa and Zero are on the way, but the smoke wall is up, and there's no way they can do much about this unless, no way, Woxic's going to hit this through it. But in the meantime, it's Issa pushing forward. Again, the smoke not able to contain him, and the last two players from North are scrambling to keep control here, but it looks unlikely.
Should have saved that molly for the bomb, Lauren. They had two of them, that would have bought 15 seconds, but now they need to win the duels and they lose them. Why don't they save the mollies? It's late in the round, the cities probably don't have the smoke. I feel like if they played for time, they could have won that round, but it wasn't meant to be. Another round where you see great play from HellRaisers, playing aggressive towards A, but passive towards B, not trying to achieve too much, and just, you know, great CS from them throughout this map.
Yeah, pleasantly surprised, I think is the only way I can put it. And if this plays anything to what we're going to see in Cobble, this actually could be a really interesting matchup. I'm hoping to see more from North going forward, but for now, that has certainly put them on notice. It seems that HellRaisers will not be pushed over today, and there's going to be a lot more to be seen. But before we get there, we'll hear from the analysis desk, and before that, we're going to go to a short break.